Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I'm Sean Anderson, Most Valuable Podcast, and we are doing our NFL season predictions for 2018. And I am probably the third video you're seeing because we are going in reverse draft, or we're going in draft order because we're going from worst to first. So I have the Colts with the third worst record last year. They obviously were out without their quarterback, Andrew Luck, for the whole year. They had a lot of problems on their offensive line. They had a lot of problems defensively, but now they have Frank Reich. Yeah, one of them was right. One of them was right for Reich. Frank Reich, former OC for the Philadelphia Eagles, is now the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, trying to bring in a new era. Thankfully, the Colts are out of the Pagano era, which was a mess. But let's jump into all 16 games for the Colts. I'm going to give you their win-loss record for those games. I was pretty good last year. I think I was, on the mark, probably 2 games off for most of them. So if you call me an idiot, that's fine. I am an idiot, but I was somewhat right last year. So at least give me that credit. Let's jump in. Week 1, the Colts take on the Bengals. I think the Bengals aren't a superb team, but I think they are a good enough team to beat the Colts in Week 1 because we don't know how healthy Andrew Luck is. This is before preseason. This is before we have seen him. I don't know what he looks like as a quarterback. Is he going to be like the old Andrew Luck, who I think is probably a top 5 quarterback in the league when healthy, or is he going to look like an injured quarterback and a guy who is rusty, who hasn't played for over a year? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how Luck looks in his first game. I'm assuming he is going to look poor in his first game, and that's why I have them losing to the Bengals. I think the Bengals are good enough to beat the Colts. Then Week 2, the Redskins kind of fall in that same vein of the Bengals. They are good enough. They're not great. I don't think they're going to go to the playoffs, but I think they can beat some good teams. And again, I think that going away from Indianapolis and still having that rust on Andrew Luck, I think that's going to be a major downfall and why the Redskins win in Week 2 over the Colts. Then Week 3, whether you have a healthy Andrew Luck or not, you are not beating the Eagles this year. I'm sorry to put it that way. You're going to lose in Philadelphia. Frank is not going to have the homecoming and beat his old team. The Eagles are going to win. Eagles are just more talented than the Colts. I don't think any Colts fan are going to fight me on that. Colts are going to lose in Week 3 and start off 0-3. And it's not going to turn around because in Week 4 you take on the Texans. And if you watch my Texans one that's going to come out way down the line, you know that they lose in Week 4. Welcoming back Andrew Luck, this is going to be probably one of the best pass rushes he faces all year in J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney. He's got to do it another time after this as well. I think he's going to lose in Week 4. I think that the Colts aren't going to have enough to stop Deshaun Watson defensively. I don't think they have enough offensively to at least help Andrew Luck. And that is going to be the reason why they lose in Week 4. And then in Week 5, you take on the Patriots. This is probably one of the worst schedules you can have because you're going up against 3 great teams back-to-back, and then the first 2, you have a rusty Andrew Luck. I'm a Patriots fan. If you think they're going to win, that's fine. They're not. Patriots win Week 5. Then in Week 6, that's where things start to turn around. If I lost you after the first couple of games, hopefully I'm able to bring you back. In Week 6, you go up against the Jets. You can beat the Jets. I think you beat them in New Jersey. You get the win in Week 6. Then in Week 7 against the Bills, another rookie quarterback, I think you get the win. I think Indianapolis going up against Josh Allen, I think Andrew Luck can beat this. I think it's been going 7 weeks now. He's been getting back and used to NFL speed, NFL games. I think you get the win in Week 7. Then in Week 8, you take on the Raiders coming off a bye, so that's going to be a little bit difficult. But again, the Raiders aren't that good of a team. We don't know what they're going to be like under their new head coach. We don't know if they're going to be healthy. I don't know if they have a rushing attack. Will Marshawn Lynch be a capable running back for them? Is their defense that good? I think Andrew Luck gets the win, and I think the Colts, Andrew Luck and the Colts, get the win in Week 8 and head into the bye on a 3-game win streak. So they start off 3-5 after their bye, and then in Week 10, you have the Jaguars off the bye, you have the Colts on the bye, it's Indianapolis. I don't know really who to pick, so let's give it to the home team. Colts get another win. They start a 4-game win streak. I think this team, again, has some talent. They are an upgraded team. I think teams might look at this team last year and not get the full picture that this offensive line was absolutely horrible last year. They might not get the picture that Andrew Luck wasn't there. And while Jacoby Brissett played fine, again, Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton were not able to hook up every single, at any point of the last year. And I think now having that connection, one of the best connections in the NFL, I think it's going to be beneficial to this Colts team. I think you sneak an upset over the Jaguars in Week 10. Then Week 11, you have another divisional opponent in the Titans at home. I think they extend their win streak to 5 games. Call me crazy. A 5-game win streak for the Colts, and now they're at 5-5, 5-5 and at 500. And then in Week 12, they go around against the Dolphins on a bye. Indianapolis, they get another one. Andrew Luck, I think, is going to finally hit his stride and get the Colts a 6-game win streak. Then it comes to a little bit of a halt in Week 13, you go up against the Jaguars in Jacksonville. It's going to be a rubber match. I think the defense for Jacksonville is going to be too much. I think Andrew Luck kind of has a comeback to life moment because, again, he's been red hot for the past 6 weeks, but he's also a guy that can throw a lot of interceptions. Going up against Jalen Ramsey, that pass rush, that linebacking core, I think it's going to be detrimental, especially in Jacksonville. So the Jags get the win in Week 13. Then Week 14, you have the rubber match against the Texans. And I have you winning that one. Even though it's in Houston, I think Andrew Luck has seen this pass rush before, and the Texans have never been the most consistently healthy team. So by Week 14, I can totally see this Texans team being banged up and being on the level of the Colts. And by that point, if Deshaun Watson's healthy, I still think Andrew Luck is a better quarterback. I know people love Deshaun Watson for those 6 games he played, but also Houston hasn't had a great quarterback since Matt Schaub. So any life was great for that Houston team and that quarterback situation. I think Andrew Luck is still, again, one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. I think by this point in Week 14, he will have hit his stride. I think the Colts get the win in Week 14. Then Week 15, I have the Cowboys coming into Indy and beating you. I'm not massively high on the Cowboys, but I think they are good enough. Dak Prescott can control the game, and this defense for the Colts isn't great at stopping the run. They weren't great last year at stopping the run, so I think that the Cowboys are going to get the victory with Zeke and that offensive line pushing forward and getting Zeke massive yards there, and being able to control the clock is going to be huge. So they get the win in Week 15. And in Week 16, you go up against the Giants. I'm not high on the Giants at all. I think the Colts can beat the Giants in Indianapolis, so I give them the win in Week 16. And then Week 17, you take on the Titans. You beat them in Week 11. They're going to beat you here in Week 17. So you go 3-3 in the division, 8-8 on the season. I don't think you're going to go to the playoffs, but I think you have a fairly good year under Frank Reich in your first year. I think Andrew Luck finally being healthy is going to be a major boost to this team. And, if they're able to make more additions throughout the draft through trades and through free agency, this might be a team that makes the playoffs the year after in 2019. But let me know what you think about the Colts season in 2018. Where do you think they're going to finish? What record do you think you're going to have? And what did I get wrong in this video? Because I'm not a Colts fan, so you probably know more about your team than I do. Let me know down in the comments. And while you're down there, check out patreon.com/mostavailablepodcast. Also, check out mostavailablepodcast.com so you don't miss any of our previews, our podcasts, and also subscribe to Most Valuable Podcast. This is the 3rd season prediction. We still have 29 others to come. Come visit me, Mark, Ricky. It's going to be a fun time. Check it out, mostavailablepodcast.com. See you later.